Guys, let's take a seat and settle down. Welcome to your speeches. We ask that you all put your cell phones before the event to honor today's speakers. Our first speaker today is Alexis Haller. Alexis will be introduced by her aunt, Kelly Hardy.
Good morning. Alexis has always walked to the beat of her own drum. When she was little, her favorite activity was to play school, act like the teacher, and boss all of us around. She always preferred to engage with adults and anyone in her family, but shied away from interactions with unfamiliar people. This was something I always worried about. But watching Alexis grow, I realized that my favorite thing about her is that she has always known who she is and the person that she wants to be. Alexis has never wavered on this. I admire this quality of hers and sometimes wish that I could be more like her. As she has grown and matured into the beautiful, strong young woman that she is today, it is wonderful to see the person that little school teacher became. Today, I'm very proud to introduce my niece, Alexis Haller.
As many of you know, I am not a social person. I don't particularly like to socialize. In fact, I'm pretty sure that this is a quality my dad passed down to me. Since my dad grew up not liking to socialize either, he knows the importance of learning the skill at an early age. To help me strengthen my socializing skills, he decided to get himself involved. Back in early August, my dad was trying very hard to get me to play in the Ladies Club Championship at the country club we belong to, because as of the first day of the tournament, August 13th, my birthday, I would officially be 18 and could play in the ladies division and not the children's division. This was not how I envisioned spending my 18th birthday. So I originally told my dad, no way. Well, he did not give up, and he insisted that I participate in the club championship, and I kept replying, no. The last day for registration finally came around, and my dad decided to play the I am off of work that weekend and want to see you play with all the ladies card. And because my dad never gets time off work, I let the guilt get the better of me. Anyway, I signed up, and now that I was signed up for the tournament, I had to tackle the real reason I did not want to play with the older ladies. The real reason was not that I did not want to play golf, but the fact that I would have to hold conversations with old ladies for 36 holes. This was terrifying. If you know me at all, you know I hate to socialize. I will go out of my way to avoid having to talk to other people. That is why golf is the perfect sport for me. I can be as quiet as I want and not have to talk to people, and I can blame my quietness on the fact that I am focusing on my golf game. But old lady golf is an entirely different animal. They talk the entire round about everything, and if you don't talk, they take it personally. To prepare me as much as possible for the upcoming 2 days of old lady interaction, I played a few extra rounds in the 2 weeks leading up to the event with my Grammy. I hope that the more I played with her and entertained her old lady type conversations, the better prepared I would be. Sorry, Grammy, I was not using you, and I really do love our conversations on the golf course, but the old lady conversation practice did help. Most of what we talked about were what I would classify as old lady topics: bad joints, the weather, Medicare, politics, what they plan to cook for dinner, when they are leaving for Florida, the good old days, and my tournament play. As you can tell, the ladies were more focused on the conversation rather than golf. The next day of the tournament was a little more golf focused, but still mainly conversation driven. I came off of the 2-day tournament with the invaluable skill of how to be social with other people. Although you could have wrung out my golf shirts from all the nervous armpit sweat from having to talk, it was an incredible life skill that I was able to learn through something I love doing. Having to talk to all of these old ladies and old men also ended up giving me connections I didn't think I needed or wanted. But now, because of the connections I made with the older men and women, I am now part of a reoccurring group of old men and women who play every Sunday. Not only has this improved my golf game, but it has also improved my social skills. Also, every week there is a group of old ladies who text me asking if I have a day off school so that we can play golf together. So anytime I have a day off school, you can find me on the golf course with my old ladies. And after we finish golfing, the old ladies and I always follow it up with something I like to call old lady lunch. The experience of playing with the older generation of members at the country club has helped me come out of my shell socially, and in response has mellowed me out on the golf course as well. I also know now that anytime I want to play golf or need a challenge, I have a plethora of old people to ask. I can also say confidently that besides my family, the old people at the country club are my second biggest supporters. For example, when I shot my personal best score at regionals, my phone was blowing up with texts from them. And when I went up to the country club the next day, people I didn't even know were congratulating me and wishing me good luck at state. That is something I have never quite experienced before, and I owe it all to the fact that in August, I had to be talkative to a group of old ladies. This experience has also helped me be more social in all aspects of my life, not just in golf. I am working on bringing that side of me out in school. I know at school I come off quiet and closed off, and to some of you, this speech might be the most you have ever heard me talk, but I'm working on it. I'm working on my sociability one setting at a time. But just know, if you ever want to see me at my social peak, come watch me when I play golf with the old ladies. I'm a completely different person then. Being a social person has never been my strong suit. So the fact that golf, one of the most individual, isolated sports there is, helped me open up and taught me the most importance of being social. My dad was the one who pushed me out of my shell back in August. None of the opportunities I have gained or lessons I have learned since I became more sociable would have happened without my dad. So Dad, thank you for guilting me into playing in the Ladies Club Championship. I very much appreciate it. Also, Dad, thank you for paying for all the subsequent rounds of golf that followed the club championship due to my abundance of socialization. After reflecting on this incredible experience, I can confidently say that now, in some situations, I actually get excited to show off my newly learned skills of social interaction. Thank you.
Our second speaker today is Sally Brem. Sally will be introduced by the better Brem, in my opinion, Mary.
Hi. My mom said I can only say nice things about Sally, so this will be a short introduction. The question I always get is, who is my favorite sibling? And since Caroline and Alex are away, I guess I have to choose Sally. All jokes aside, Sally's the best. She never rolls her eyes at me. She drives me places without complaint, and she always says hi to me in the hallways. She's a great role model, though. She works hard at school and is always trying her best on the lacrosse and field hockey fields, and she always surrounds herself with really nice people. I will really miss Sally next year, partly because I love her and partly because I won't have anyone to drive me around. I love you, Sally, and I hope you have a great time at Wake Forest next year. This is the introduction of Sally, sorry.
I stand up here today as the third Brem to give a senior speech. Although my sister gave her speech about her gratitude for her siblings, I'm frankly doing the opposite. Most people consider having an older sibling in the same thing but I see it as a competition. My obsession with being the best Brem didn't start until sophomore year, but ever since, I have been determined to claim that title. I decided to use my platform today to share my opinions on why I am the best Brem. All 4 Brem kids are so incredibly different. Throughout my high school experience, I've had to prove that I don't have the same shyness as my older sister Caroline, or the same stubbornness as my brother Alex. And after having that dreadful, "oh, I met Mary" conversations with my teachers, I'm grateful that she follows in my footsteps and I don't follow in hers. Despite our differences, I can personally say that I share many similarities with my siblings. I have the same academic drive as my older sister, and I have the same sassiness as Alex, and I have the same social personality as Mary, just not to the same extent. However, the way we act at school differs when we get home. I'm the most intimidating out of all my siblings. My siblings and even my mom think of me as someone they can go to when they need to talk, but they are terribly afraid of me. When I go into the kitchen after a long day of school to grab, I'll either turn my TikTok up or I will silently stare at Mary until she leaves. My mom calls me the bully of the family, well, primarily just to Mary, and even gives my friends permission to verbally abuse me so I can get a taste of my own medicine. But overall, I'm a good person. I don't want to give the impression that I'm a bully. I also find myself securing the front seat on family trips, knowing that I'm neither the oldest nor the tallest. If I sit in the front, nobody has the guts to ask me to move. Fear is what gives me those luxuries. Secondly, I'm the best driver in my family. Caroline is the most cautious driver. She follows every traffic law and occasionally goes under the speed limit, even if I tell her that it's embarrassing and to speed up. But driving with her is terrifying. Despite following every traffic regulation, Caroline proudly disobeys the recommendation to sit 10 inches away from the wheel. Instead, she scoots her seat all the way up and slams on the brakes when the light turns red. My family is confused on how she passed her driver's test. Alex, on the other hand, is a reckless driver with a tremendous amount of road rage. Driving with him was terrifying as well. As the dumbest smart person I know, Alex put diesel in the car that only took regular, resulting in the car being unsafe to drive because it was highly flammable. Lucky for me, I got a new car out of it. I'm the perfect mix of drivers. I'm cautious, follow traffic laws, and only have the slightest case of road rage. Mary and my parents have all agreed that I am the best driver. Thirdly, I am the only child to have never had a dental injury. Although this is an interesting thing to be the best at, I hold pride in the fact that I've never been rushed to the dentist. Caroline rode her bike down a hill and ran into a tree, which resulted in her chipping her tooth. Alex broke his jaw and knocked out his bottom teeth. Well, Mary actually broke Alex's jaw and knocked out his bottom teeth. Mary thought it was a great idea to jump under Alex, causing him to smash his jaw into her head. And because no day is a dull day with Mary, my mom got the frantic call that Mary had knocked her front tooth out at school. While questioning Mary, she confessed that her injury was caused by playing tag with her eyes closed and running into the fence by the playground, as one does. Having no dental injuries does not necessarily make me the best. It's the fact that I've never made the dumb decisions that have got me to that place. And I can keep going. I'm the most musically inclined out of all my siblings. Anyone who knows me in instrumental class, this might come as a surprise if you've heard me play. Caroline had the dedication, just not the talent. My family dreaded when she practiced her viola because it sounded like somebody was dying. Alex tried to continue the viola legacy, but quit after 2 years due to the inability to play any pieces. And Mary didn't make it past 8th grade. Not to say I'm much better, but I've never received noise complaints from my family. I've stayed in strings for 4 years, and I'm clearly Mr. Lerner's favorite, therefore making me the best. Lastly, I'm the best cook in my family. To be honest, I'm not even very good. I can follow a simple recipe, but the bar is set very low. Mary lost her cooking privileges when she nearly set the vacation rental on fire when making an egg. She then moved to baking and attempted to make watermelon bread. Not only did she use an actual watermelon, but she forgot to put yeast in it, meaning it didn't rise. We appreciate the effort though. Caroline can successfully make one meal, microwavable meatballs and pasta. And recently she's upgraded to using spices. Alex can't cook, period. My mom cooks everything for him or buys him a variety of frozen foods in which he still struggles with. I will never forget when we left Alex home alone for the first time and he called my mom and had on clarification on how to make ramen noodles and asked if he could eat expired yogurt. As a third born, I've watched my older siblings leave collegiate and go to college. As time goes on, the house has gotten quieter. As I gear up to head to college, I grant Mary 4 years to prove herself as the best. My siblings have taught me so much throughout my life, and I'm forever grateful for them. I realize that there may be no clear-cut best friend because my siblings all have great and unique attributes. But who are we kidding? Miss Brundage has declared me as the best friend, and I consider my journey a success. Thank you.
Our final speaker today is Ava Ritter. Ava will be introduced by her sister Emma.
As you may know me, my name is Emma, and I have the distinct privilege of being Ava's sister for the last 16 years and introducing her to all of you. Ava is my teacher, my defender, my advocate, and counselor, but most of all, she's my best friend. She looks out for me, she sets a good example by working hard and always gives me great advice. She does take the role of being big sister seriously, maybe too seriously. So here's my first friend and second mother, Ava.
For senior speeches, you're supposed to talk about something or someone who has influenced your life in a significant way. And I'm pretty sure most people expect me to come up here and talk about living in Florida or being on the track team. But I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to talk about being the older sibling. By being born first, I've been forced to bear certain responsibilities, setting an example, giving advice, and overall looking out for and taking care of my younger sister. As easy as that sounds, Emma has made sure to make my job challenging. Emma and I were very different growing up. I liked to play with dolls and paint, where Emma liked to play with cars and video games. I was the girly girl and Emma was your classic tomboy. Now, this difference of interest caused a divide between us. Because I'm older, I always get to be player one, get shotgun, I get to pick what we do first and decide when we do something else. Those are just the rules. This caused young Emma to despise me because to Emma, it was her world and I was just living in it. So when it came to picking an activity, Emma always had her own plans. When I was 7 and she was 5, we went on a Disney cruise. We spent most of the trip at the kids club where our parents dropped us off. Before leaving us, my mom would remind me, Ava, you're the big sister. You have to stick together and make sure you don't lose Emma. And at first we would stick together, taking turns picking what we were going to do, but soon enough, Emma would start complaining. She told me, I'm just going to the next room. I promise I won't go anywhere without telling you. She had pinky promised me this. So 5 minutes later, I would go to see where Emma had been, and she wasn't there. So I started checking all the surrounding rooms. Also not there. It seemed as if Emma was nowhere to be found. I was frantically looking around in this crowded cruise ship daycare, and I was forced to talk to Disney cast members on the verge of tears, asking Snow White if they had seen a girl with short brown hair, bangs, blue eyes, and wearing a really ugly cat shirt. I put up a whole missing persons case in the daycare to find little Miss Emma. Now, I wasn't actually worried about her well-being and wasn't worried that she might have been kidnapped or something serious like that. I was terrified of what my mom would have done if she had came to pick us up and I had lost my little sister. This extremely stressful scenario took place every night at the kids club. No matter how many times I told Emma to stick with me, or even when my parents had told her to stay with me, it still happened. If I was hanging out with her too much, she had told me to just simply go away. And if I didn't, she would run off. So of course, when my mom came to get us and I hadn't found Emma, she was furious, lecturing me on how I'm supposed to always be watching Emma and she is my responsibility. Meanwhile, Emma, who had made it her mission to get me in trouble, stood there pretending to be innocent. I told my mom that she had been actively running away from me, and my mom said, "Oh, sweet little Emma would never do that. She loves you." I will never let this go. The stress and anger Emma put me through nightly on the cruise practically traumatized little 7-year-old Ava. So yes, I'm holding a grudge against this, but Emma is for holding her tendency to hold grudges. I often fell victim to her grudges because she thought I was lame and bossy. She doesn't hold a grudge by the silent treatment or through boycotting, but by telling anybody and everybody for years and years about how you wronged her. Her biggest grudge against me began when Emma and I were camping with our grandparents. Emma was and still is a restless sleeper. She punches, she kicks, she becomes a hot box, and she wakes up with her hair in a rat's nest. So because of her sleeping habits, that night her tussling made her hair get knotted up around her earring. She thought she could untangle it herself, but not with a brush, with her bare hands. But when she wasn't unable to free her earring from the knots of her hair, she began to panic and started to yank at the tangled mass. This is when Emma woke me up crying. I tried to calm her down and untangled the rat's nest. Carefully, I removed the earring, but I discovered something horrifying. Emma's earlobe was now ripped into two. When I revealed this information to Emma, and because of her pre-existing feelings towards me, she was sure that I was the one who had ripped her earring. For years after, Emma went around and told everyone that I was the one who ripped her earring out, leaving her with the inability to wear earrings. Even though deep down, she knew that it was more likely that she had torn it with all the yanking she had done that night. Whenever her classmate asked, "Why is your ear like that?" Emma would say, "Oh, Ava did it." I can only imagine the fear upon that kid's face after Emma had said her sister mercilessly ripped her earring through her ear. Now, our relationship has come so far from those early days. For example, Emma has finally admitted to the earlobe incident being her own fault, and she can now wear earrings again with the help of some stitches. And she has admitted to our parents that sweet little Emma was actually a menace and was purposely running away from me that week on the boat. Now that we are older and both of us are overcoming our once seemingly impossible differences, our relationship is growing. Emma is kind and patient. She knows how to make me laugh, and honestly, I'm gonna miss her when I go away to college. There is a difference between being an older sibling and being a big sister. No matter what, I'm always gonna be older than Emma. But being a big sister means actually wanting to be there for her, actually caring about the things she comes to me about, and actually be looking out for her. I know that I don't know what I would do if I didn't have Emma. Being a big sister is definitely a big part of who I am, but having Emma in my life has played a much larger role. So even when Emma is running away from me, blames me for things I didn't do, and even when I'm no longer living at home, gone away to college, Emma knows she can call or text me anytime, day or night, and I will be there for her. Thank you.
Let's get another round of applause.